Welcome, viewers, to the next edition of Development Talks. Today, we are very fortunate to have Mr. Zahid Khan, who is a project management professional in USA and working in Seattle. At the moment, he is working as Deputy Director of Enterprise Asset Management in Sound Transit, and he has vast experience in project management. And basically, he will give us a talk today on various aspects of efficient project management. And I also have with me Dr. Saeed Ahmed in this platform. So I would, at the very outset, request Mr. Zahid Khan to introduce himself.
Thank you, Zahid. Thank you for the introduction. As you mentioned that I am a project management professional, as well as I am a licensed civil engineer in the state of Washington and state of Hawaii. I have 25 plus years of experience in project program and portfolio management for government sectors, mainly working on capital delivery projects, ranging up to $1.8 billion. In addition to help delivering project, I also taught project management as registered education provider with the Project Management Institute. So thank you for this opportunity to talk about project management.
You are most welcome, Mr. Zahid Khan. Dr. Said, do you have any specific question to ask him? Otherwise, I have a broad question based on which he can make a presentation and his talk. Said?
Let us start with the broad question first.
Mr. Zahid?
Yeah, now start with the broad question.
Okay. So, in your view, what is holistic project management? Basically, what I imply is that project management more than just scope, schedule, and cost management. Yeah, that's your area of expertise.
That's correct, Zahir. Traditionally, project management has been viewed as managing simply scope, schedule, and cost. That's the traditional view, not until about 20 years ago when the Project Management Institute introduced 10 knowledge areas. So what are those 10 knowledge areas and what is holistic project management? So when you look at scope, you have a scope, then you have a schedule to deliver that scope, you have a budget. It sounds very simple. Mm-hmm. So that is the triple constraint. Once your scope increases, you need more time, you need more budget. Straightforward, but it's not so. Because there are 7 other elements. So I will briefly touch on some of those. One is risk management. The project risk is an uncertainty that may or may not happen. If that happens, there could be a positive or negative impact on the project objectives. So just to give you an example, if we're doing a development project and suddenly there is a regulatory change, then the permit you initially had is no longer good. When there is that certain change, then you have to adapt to that change, you have to manage that risk. So if you don't identify that risk early in the project, if you wait for that risk to happen, then it's too late to proactively manage that. So for holistic project management, you need to manage risk. In addition to that, stakeholder engagement. When you look at projects, especially the projects that you guys have worked on, there are a lot of partners. There are international partners, different agencies, funding agencies. So all of those people who have a stake in the project are considered stakeholders. Mm-hmm. So now you want to keep the stakeholders engaged in the project. Why is that important? You want to understand what are the stakeholders' requirements, what are their expectations, then you have to manage those. If you cannot manage those expectations, at the end of the project, it's not going to be very successful. To effectively manage the stakeholder engagement, the third element is the communications management. So you need to have a comprehensive communications plan so that you are providing the information to your stakeholders. You don't want to throw all kinds of reports at the people. They may not be interested. Simply, maybe they want to know status on your budget or on your schedule and so on. So you need to have a structured way of providing that information. So that's the third element of holistic project management. Then the fourth element is quality management. So in this case, I'm talking about project quality management as opposed to product quality management. So let's say you are doing a concrete structure. You want to make sure it has the certain strength. So that would be the product quality management. In terms of project quality management, you want to make sure that the risk management plan you did, communications management plan you did, that's actually effective. So when you manage the project quality management, you are effectively applying the project management tools. So that's the fourth element. Then the fifth element is resource management. So when I talk about resource, that includes both human resource and as well as resource could be you need equipment, you need material, you need technology, all of those are resource. So my main focus is on human resource management. To manage people, to keep them engaged, to keep them motivated, you need leadership. So leadership is a big part of project management. So that's the fourth element. Then the fifth element is integration management. So what is integration management? As a project manager, you might be working on multidisciplinary technical expert. There could be financial expert. There could be resource expert. So how you integrate all of this knowledge that are being created by different experts. So how you incorporate that in your project is integration management. Then the sixth element is procurement management. So in procurement management, for most of the project, you may have one or more contracts. So how effectively you are managing those information would be your procurement management. So in holistic management, in addition to looking at scope, schedule, and cost, you are looking at these other elements and you are managing the impacts of those elements on your scope, schedule, budget to get to the finish line.
Okay, that's excellent. So if I got it right, it's a kind of content management and process management broadly. So you have various tools to manage the content of the project and to manage the process of the project. So in order to do that, basically for the benefit of our viewers and us, what kind of resources do you need? I mean, in managing SOAP?
Yeah, so Zahir, what I see project management as, it has a series of processes. So if you look at the Project Management Institute, if you look at their 7th edition of Project Management Body of Knowledge, they call it PMBOK, there are 49 different project management processes. So to apply and manage those processes, you do need resource. So resource could be human, resource could be artificial intelligence, it could be a software. Then what's the biggest part here is the leadership. As a project manager, the ones that are really great, they're great leader because they know how to keep their project team members motivated. They know how to provide the right resource at the right time. So it is more like when you go to a concert, there is the conductor. So the conductor is managing all of the instrument players. So as a project management, our job is to be that conductor and apply the leadership skill to make sure that everybody is playing along the same direction for the success of a project.
Okay. So if I got you right, by leadership, you don't mean only time management, but broadly, kind of broader aspects of leadership. So good communicator and good kind of who empathizes with his kind of counterparts. And do you have any kind of module for leadership training also in this respect, or is it imparted separately, or it's part of the process?
Well, in leadership, it's very broad area. So I have provided training on different aspects of leadership. For example, emotional intelligence. In emotional intelligence, it starts with awareness. So understanding yourself, understanding myself is the self-awareness. How well do I understand myself? Why is that important? Because let's say if I am having difficulty focusing on for whatever is going on in my life, then I'm going to be distracted. So if I know myself that I am distracted, now how do I manage myself when I'm working with others is critical. Now, when I'm working with you, I need to have the ability to put myself in your shoes so that I can understand where you are coming from. So when I understand what's going through in your situation, and then if it is time for celebration, we will celebrate. If it is time for empathy, we need to show the empathy. So it's how I regulate myself, the self-regulation. The ultimate goal is to motivate people. So this is one of the core element of leadership is emotional intelligence. Then you talked about communication. Communication is critical. How effectively we communicate, it's going to have a direct impact on the project outcome. So that's why I see leadership is a very critical part. So now in the Project Management Institute, they have a talent triangle in that there are three components. One is leadership. One is how you understand the business. Third one is the technical part. So technical part would be developing schedule, developing cost estimate, and so on. So to apply holistic leadership or holistic project management, you need leadership, you need understanding of the business acumen, and also the knowledge of project management.
Excellent, excellent. So my next question to you is, based on whatever you have said, I think it definitely would improve in a holistic way all kinds of project management if we look at it in a broader perspective. So could you, Mr. Zahid Khan, give us an example, small example maybe, which you can just present for the benefit of all, that something was going wrong and you, based on your experience and the knowledge and the holistic project management approach, you took some action and that improved. Just an example. One example will help us to understand. I mean, real life example.
Yeah, so let me give you one example. When I was working for a government agency, I was managing a team of 12 people. They were involved with project management, technical work, as well as construction management. So the project it's a waste management facility construction. So it was a $110 million project. So to construct a very large building, inside the building, there were 3 waste compactors. So these are huge waste compactors. These are like 20 feet by 80 feet, and maybe the depth is about 20 feet. So with those kinds of compactor, They are operated by PLC, program logic control. So they have to be precise to compact those waste. So those compactors were built in another part of the United States. So one of the risk was when we get those compactors shipped from one part of the country to the other part, they come on a rail, they are huge. Once you have it in your facility, if something goes wrong, it's too late to try to fix that because it's out of the factory. So we knew that there is a risk that if we get the compactor, if it does not work properly, then there will be significant project delay, cost increase. So one of the risk mitigation measure was to send our engineer to the facility, which was on the other side of the country. So they were basically stationed there 2 weeks to do all of the quality control testing over there rather than after it's transported. So as a result of that, that actually saved quite a bit because they found a lot of problems that would have surfaced if those were not addressed early enough. So that's one example of identifying that risk and having a mitigation plan to send some technical expert to the factory.
Risk mitigation plan, basically. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Excellent. Excellent. So, Dr. Said, do you have any specific question to ask to
Yeah.
Mr. Zahid Yusuf Khan? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Now, I was listening to Zahid quite intensely or attentively. Having had some experience in this part of the world, especially these South Asian countries, we have seen that there are many project management professionals in these countries, especially younger ones, because they aspire to become good professionals. But the problem that we face in project management process, they are still remaining. We have had billion-dollar projects going through time increment, cost increment, and sometimes beyond control. So where do you think we are missing the point? I mean, even after having PMP professionals, project management professionals, we are still not able to manage projects properly. So do you have any suggestion for that?
Yes, because as I mentioned, I was a registered education provider. So I taught over 3,000 people to become certified as PMP. So I have seen many of them. So most of the people, they go for the PMP certification so that they can add PMP after their name. So they are not really understanding the concept. So their conception is not very clear. What they're focusing on is memorizing few things and passing the exam. On the other hand, there are few people, they really want to understand what are these 49 project management processes? How do they work? So the people who are genuinely interested in project management, they will focus on understanding the principles of it. So that's one part. The other part, the project managers who are good leaders, they know how to effectively apply those processes. I have reviewed a lot of project management plans that are developed by PMPs. A lot of them, they simply copy what is in PMI's PMBOK. I am not looking for a PMBOK. I am looking for you translate that to your project. So that's how you are actually tailoring it to meet your project need. Some of the project managers that used to report to me, so they have gone to training and they have said, oh, this is not going to work for us. These are for the NASA project, these massive projects. The reason they had that conception, because the instructor in that course, they used NASA project example. So then when I started teaching, I had 3 different format of teaching. One was applied. So in applied form, I would take whatever projects they are working and then translate that to their project. So that translation part is missing. So that's another reason a lot of the PMPs fail, is they cannot properly tailor it to their project need. So, Said, you had a really great question. I know you have limited time, but this is a great question. I can go on for a while because I have seen why PMPs don't succeed all the time. Just to wrap it up, is they fail to tailor into their project's need. It's because they don't understand the fundamental of it. So they need to have a clear conception.
I think that's very good explanation you have done. One point that you have repeatedly mentioned is leadership, and I can't agree more with you on that, because I have seen many project managers who does not have the leadership skills, and that becomes the weakest link in the chain because of lack of proper leadership. And I also think that leadership is important not only for the project manager himself or herself, but also in every bit of the process down the line. If in your team everyone is a leader, have a leader mindset, then you can have a successful project implemented. This is my view. What do you think?
Yeah, that's definitely the right view as you are talking about it. I was thinking of a project manager. He is very highly educated. He had a couple of PhDs. He is so good from the technical element. His analysis, his schedule, everything is so good, but he rubs the people the wrong way. So what happens, his interpersonal skill lacks. So like if somebody makes a mistake, he would not be forgiving or kind. So he would be harsh. So as a result of that, even though he is great with technical aspect of it, but the human side of project management, that's lacking in him. As a result, he's struggling as a project manager. So what I have done in another case, I had one project manager who had 40 years of experience, but not very good interpersonal skills. Since that was a very big project, I teamed up with one young person that really good with people skill, but she has a long way to learn project management. So when I teamed up these two individuals, that worked out well because the younger one has a better human side of leadership, know how to influence people, how to communicate. So she was applying that part, translating the complex project management plan that the project manager developed. So that was a case that worked out, but I always emphasized all of my project managers to start growing their leadership skills because that's really important in life.
Mm-hmm. No, very, very important. So I think we are heading towards the end of this edition. And from our Development Talks platform, Mr. Zahid Yusuf Khan, we extend our heartiest and sincerest thanks and gratitude to you for coming and for giving your talk. And as because you are highly experienced with vast type of on-the-ground knowledge, maybe we look forward to bring you again if you have time. And Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and thank you again, Mr. Zahid Yusuf Khan,
Thank
for
you,
coming
Zahid.
to our platform. Yeah.
Yes, thank you and goodbye. Yes, Zahid, please, if you want to say
Thank
something.
you, Zaid. Thank you, Said. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Happy holidays.
Okay. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. So,
Thank you. Goodbye. Yeah.
so goodbye. Yeah.
Bye.